Welcome everybody to Sin City Living. My name is Jason and I'll be bringing you today's episode. As always, please hit those like and subscribe buttons. We have a ton of content for you guys coming out every single week, every single day generally. Occasionally miss a day like I did during the rodeo that is still ongoing right now. And I hope all of our patrons out there are appreciating the patron-only exclusive videos we're putting out with the Dice class, putting one out every couple of weeks. And if you're curious about that, go ahead and check the description down below. Once I get this whole live stream thing figured out, I'm probably going to do a live stream on the patron site as well. One on the regular site, one on the patron site. I do have the new computer for it. Theoretically, I have everything ready. I'm just so busy currently with this rodeo. And one of our fans asked a question a little while back about ways to tip us, to show appreciation to us without having to sign up as one of our patrons. And at the time we did not have any way of doing it, but I have managed now to get us signed up with a site called Buy Me a Coffee. As I'm sure some of you guys have noticed from some of our videos, Louie and I are both pretty heavy coffee drinkers. So if you're curious about that as well, go ahead and check down below in the description as well. We would definitely appreciate any cups of coffee you're willing to pick up for us. And don't forget to email us with any strategies, questions, suggestions, anything at all. We love shooting those videos for you guys. I actually haven't gotten a new email in about 2 weeks. And also, don't forget, anybody that may be interested in one of the small Sin City Living neons that we have, just email us that as well, sincitylivingLV@gmail.com. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and get into today's episode. So for today's video, I want to show you guys a strategy that I saw on the table the other day. It's kind of a funny one. It's kind of one of those strategies that as soon as it started being played, some of my friends were like, oh, I smell a new video coming, because this was just such a silly strategy. I actually have 2 of them. I'm going to film 2 videos on similar strategies that were just made us laugh. So for this one, this player bought in for a decent amount of money. I'm not going to go into how much they bought in for, but bought in for a decent amount of money. And they were basically playing $100 don't pass. Not quite what they were playing, but it's pretty darn close. So $100 don't pass. Okay. Now, once there was a point, does not matter what the point is. Okay. Once there was a point, they dropped in $160. Said I want a cross including. Okay, no problem. So we gave them a cross including. And on top of that, then they would do a lay. So, and on the 6 and 8, they tend to go a little bit smaller, but their lays were typically between $300 to $500, depending on what the point was, and depending on how they felt. Sometimes they would lay the 6 for $150. Other times they'd lay it for $300. So we'll say $300 lay. Now, I've seen many strategies like this, and there's usually a little bit more thought behind them on the pluses and minuses. One of the things that when I see the strategy that is typically eliminated at the very, very beginning is the lay. They usually won't put the lay on there. And what they will do instead is they will same bet their place bets. And once these place bets have hit a few times, they will actually pick up their don't pass. Basically, they're trying to kind of in a way have not quite a free bet, but pretty damn close. Because let's say there's a 0.7 out situation. So a 0.7 out situation, they lose 160 here, but they make 100 there. So they only lost $60. If a couple of these hit, now they've made $70 at the minimum. That's assuming it's one of the inside numbers. 2 inside numbers hit. They've made $70. So now, if a 7 out occurs, they actually have a $10 profit. If a couple more numbers hit, then maybe they pick up that don't pass because they've basically made almost their 160 inside, and now, or 160 across, and now they start pressing. That's typically what I see with this strategy, is that they're just basically trying to get to where their bankroll is not so much a risk. But this person's strategy, they did a couple things that are different. They did the lay right off the bat, and again, anywhere between $300 to $500. Right off the bat, an immediate lay. They never picked it up. That was always, always, always down, regardless of how these numbers may be doing. And they also didn't collect. Here's an example. Let's say an 8 rolls. Okay. press, you got it. He collects $5, except that he wouldn't. He would say, put $5 on the 9. Okay, you got it. Let's say the 8 rolled again, right? Go ahead and press my 6 up to 60. Put the 15 on the 9. Put the quarter on the 5. I would see this player get all the way up to where they had blacks on these place bets and they still hadn't collected more than $20 to $30. And, if a 7 out occurred, sure, they win on their lay and their don't pass, but they collected nothing from all these hits that occurred. I mean, I would see a 10, 12-minute roll and this player hadn't really collected anything. And sometimes they would do it without the point. They would, instead of doing 160, they would do 130 or 135. I'd say about 50-50, maybe even a little bit higher percentage than that. And obviously, the weakness is a winner, especially if you catch one of those shooters that hits a hot roll and makes 3 or 4 winners. We found this again. Like I said, we found this amusing. One, it was kind of strokey because the player didn't really have they understood the bets, they understood the payouts, but because they tried to put every penny they made back into their numbers, oftentimes when we would go to pay something, they would have to stop and look at it and tell us one at a time what we wanted to do. For instance, let's say the 9. Okay, let's say the 9 hits. Well, a $45 9 is going to pay $63, right? So he's going to look at this and he's going to say, okay, all right, put 4 and 10, quarter each. Okay, 4 and 10, a quarter each. And then then go ahead and put 12 onto the 8. Okay, and then he would collect the dollar. He would sit there and just slowly piecemeal everything he made back out onto these. So he never collected. Not once did he collect. It was absolutely crazy. And again, winners can crush you. So to kind of give you an idea of how well this performed, this player bought in for many thousands of dollars. And while he didn't get, and he had to rebuy. Okay, he bought in for many thousands of dollars over the course of 3 buy-ins. At one point, actually 2 points that I recall, he was all in on the table, and it was actually a 6. He was all in, didn't even have enough first place bets, just had his don't pass with his lay on a 6, and was fortunately able to get the 7 out. But yeah, thousands, because this player really didn't have a win condition, didn't really have a win point. They weren't collecting, so they really didn't have a spot that they were winning. So it was just a very strange strategy. They might catch a streak where they'd managed to win back a few thousand on some, on a really cold, like there was one point where we in this is no exaggeration, went 37 minutes without a winning roll. There was a 7 out for 37 minutes. So they continuously got paid over on their don't pass, but they did lose these. So they were winning a little bit here and there, a couple hundred depending on what the point was. But eventually, it turns and they hit a few winners. And the thing is, a few winners wipe out a massive part of the bankroll. 100 was say $400 lay on the 4 and 10, and I actually saw this. Winner 4, same shooter. Winner 10, player just lost $1,000. $1,000 in two rolls with the dice. Well, they hadn't really collected anything on their other bets. And then this shooter did have 2 more winners on top of that. So yeah, it was an interesting strategy. Definitely an interesting strategy. This could very much tie back into the question in the video we shot earlier about ratings as well, because this player was actually not rated for a very high average bet. So I hope you guys find this interesting, amusing, just plain odd. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Thanks again for all the coffees. We will catch you guys next time. Bye now. So, as I promised, I wanted to go over very briefly our upcoming attempts at a third test live stream. So what's happened so far? The first test live stream just flat didn't work. The problem that I had was was an equipment problem. I had an equipment problem in that the equipment that I was using to translate the camera into streamable video to the computer required a better USB port than the computer I was using at the time. So that one just flat failed because it would not translate into the computer. The computer would not pick it up, would not read it, so I wasn't able to live stream it. So then, as I was looking through, because I'm a little bit of a tech head, as I was looking through all of my other stuff, because I do have 4 laptops here and 3 computers, I did find one that actually did have the newer style USB port. Unfortunately, it was actually my oldest laptop, but I figured, what the heck, let me give it a shot. What's the worst that can happen? And this time around, when I fired everything up, the video was actually translating onto the computer, so things were looking better. But then when I attempted to live stream, the computer was not powerful enough to be able to translate it and then upload it sufficiently. So it basically just uploaded a blank screen for the live stream. So what I am going to have to do is, and I'm already looking into all of my options, I'm going to upgrade my computer so I can add, what, a 7th, 8th computer to my household. And I'm going to go much, much higher, and I'm going to get a computer that is far more than I need for this, far, far, far more powerful than I need for this. That way, any future upgrades that I may do, the computer will be able to handle it. So unfortunately, this computer is going to cost me about 25% more, about 25% of what I've already laid out in all the equipment for this channel. So it wasn't something I could just instantly buy. I'm probably looking at Black Friday or Cyber Monday. So hopefully I have it within the next couple of weeks, and then I'll do another test live stream and see if I can go from there. So I will definitely do at least one weekly live stream on our Patreon because they're the ones that are really helping us get this computer. And the other equipment that I'm going to get, because I figure if I'm buying the computer, I might as well buy the most high-end capture cards and things along those lines, get everything as good as possible, and then hopefully eventually get a better microphone for you guys. So yeah, that's where we stand on the live stream. As soon as I have the computer and I do the test, which will be in a few weeks, like I said, got to order it in a week or two, then I have to wait for it to ship. Plus we have probably the biggest event of the year coming up, the NFR, National Finals Rodeo. So I'm basically working 2 weeks straight, as is my wife. So not going to have a whole lot of time. But once we get all that under control, then we'll figure out. There's been some schedule changes to myself, some schedule changes to my wife, and some upcoming schedule changes to my wife as well. So hopefully we can get all the scheduling figured out so I know when I'll be able to live stream as well. My initial plan of Thursdays at 6 o'clock is already out the window. I'm at work at that point now. So we will get it all figured out, and we will let you guys know, I promise. And otherwise, I hope you guys have found this interesting, enlightening, illuminating, or at least just plain fun. And we will catch you guys next time. Bye now.